We just finished one of the most interesting week since the beginning of 2024. Hey there, Tommy from FibonacciTraders.com here. Weekly market recap, like, subscribe, and without any further ado, let's see the charts. One of the most interesting week we had so far in 2024. Let's see what SPY and Friends brought us. SPY closed the week with an inside candle. Bulls trying to gain back the respect. Bears will want to try breaking below the 497, and then we will see 480 and 471. But with 5 of 7 Magnificent 7 already post earnings, we still have Amazon, Apple coming up next week. Stay tuned. Now the resistance is 509, above it 524, and if the market will like what Amazon and Apple have to say about their numbers, we will see 570. QQQ overall closed the week with 4% to the upsides. Also, inside candle, inside week of the 50% retracement. The 415 now is the support. Below it, breaking below, and we will see the 398 and 382 to the downside. And once again, if Mr. Market will like earnings report from Amazon and Apple, we might see 490 coming very soon. Dow Jones closed the week, nothing much, with a doji. 3 consecutive weeks closing inside the yellow zone, the weekly yellow zone. The yellow zone is the most important zone of support and resistance, and once you see price action inside the yellow zone, and it doesn't matter which time frame you are trading, in this case we are trading the weekly time frame. The price action is inside the yellow zone. It's a no trading zone. We can start taking long once Dow Jones will break above the 384. Short continuation, downside continuation below the 375, and we will meet the 360 to the downside. IWM gained 2.7% to the upside, but as you can see, inside candle, inside the yellow zone. Now this area, the 193, 194 area, is a very important area of support. Look left, it was resistance January of 2023, resistance July of 23, then became support throughout December until February of 2024, and now 2 consecutive weeks it's support, breaking below 190 and 183. Above 200 we will see 205 and 212 to the upside. We also have this trend line that helps us identify higher lows. We also have this trend line, 2 trend lines with the yellow zone, very important area of support. Breaking below it, 183 will be here very fast. Let's continue with the Bitcoin and the weekly. Still have time, 1.5 days since I'm recording this video. And what do we see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive weeks holding above the 60k. Not much of a price action in the past 2 months of Bitcoin. Nothing much so far, and crypto land below the 6200 we will see 452 to the downside. Ethereum also nothing much, as you can see, 3 weeks inside the yellow zone, the weekly yellow zone, and 2 consecutive weeks with a doji. No price action whatsoever. This area, the 2880, together with this blue trend line, is a very important area of support. Below it, 2570 and 2100. I want to see continuation and breaking above, at least 1 week above the 3660 area. Very tough resistance over here, so I will consider re-entering Ethereum long only above, for now, only above the 3660. Mara on the weekly gained 17.8%. Now, if you go back to last week's market weekly recap, you will see that we talked about this doji after this downtrend. We said that this doji might represent, with a high probability, a trend reversal, and trend reversal we got 17.8% in just 1 week when Bitcoin is not moving. Mara Now let's see continuation towards the 2165. Don't forget, Mara earnings coming up. We still have time, but always remember and pay attention where and when, mostly when, the stocks you are holding for swings are posting earnings. Riot, same thing. We talked about last week about this doji that might represent a trend reversal. And what a reversal we got. 31% to the upside. But overall, look at the yellow zone, the lower border of the yellow zone. Very tough resistance. Since beginning of March, it also was resistance over here. During August of 2023 until November of 2023. Also here, always look left as far as you can. And look at this. Also April through June of 2023. This area, the 12 area, is a very tough resistance on Riot. Long continuation, and we will see 1330 and 1460 to the upside. CLSK, last week 16%, previous week 12%, overall 28%. It was more from the low of April 15th week until Friday. It was 55%, but overall CLSK on the weekly looks not bad. But look at this time frame table, tells us watch out. Why? Because the FTI, this tool that I have developed, identifies that this area over here, it also gives us the red line because it identifies that this area, the 21 area, is a very tough resistance. Look at this, just look left. Since end of February, very tough resistance. So once again, bearish on the weekly, we might get a pullback inside the 1561. You want to go long on CLSK, you need at least 1 or 2 days above Friday's highs, and then you will get back to the 21 area, above it 2470, and then 36 to the upside. MAGS, the Magnificent 7 ETF, gained back 6%, holding above the weekly yellow zone. Now let's see continuation above last week's highs towards 4040 and 4282. But don't forget, Amazon Tuesday after the bell, Apple Thursday after the bell, earnings coming up. 5 of the 7 Magnificent 7 are already post earnings. We will talk about all the Magnificent 7 and more, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's continue with the SOXX, the Semiconductors ETF. Inside week, gained back 9.3% to the upside. We are still an inside candle. Inside candle, remember, it's an indecision candle. Indecision in the market, which means if we want to go long, we need to break above last week's highs towards 225 and then 240, breaking below last week's lows, below the 196, and we will see 184 and 167 to the downside. So now let's talk about Meta with a super crazy week. Look at this. Thursday after earnings, Meta went down 10.5% to the downside. At some point it was 15%, and then just gained back almost 8% in just one candle. Gained back 8%, and Friday closed with a doji. Now let's see, can Meta get above the yellow zone? We are inside the yellow zone, continuing to the downside, and we will see 396, below it 313 incoming. Overall, bearish on Meta on all time frames. Microsoft overall closed the week with a 1.8% to the upside, barely closed above the yellow zone, above the 404 area. The 404 area, very important area of support. Just look left throughout January until beginning of March, middle of March. Support now becomes resistance. Long continuation of Microsoft. I want to see at least 1 or 2 days above the 404, and then we will see 417 and 431. Look how the yellow zone acts as support and resistance for price action. Below the 388, we will see 363 to the downside. Google, the strongest of them all. Google, 11.6% after a very good earnings. Mr. Market loved Google's numbers, closed the Friday at the 175 Fibonacci. Look at this. Went all the way to the 175 future resistance that the FTI gives us. The FTI gives us future support and resistance for price action. It adjusted itself according to the time frame that we are trading, and Google, with the little help of trend lines, look at this, where Google went all the way to the upper blue trend line, now breaking up and above, and we will see a super bull run on Google towards the 203, some kind of a pullback, retesting the 165 will be super healthy and not surprising at all. So remember, just nobody knows what will happen next. We need to just ask ourselves, what if? What if Google will give us the same price action it gave us over here, and over here? What happened before? In the past, when Google price reached all the way to this upper blue trend line, it got rejected and went to the downside. Now we need to prepare. What if it will happen again? 165 is the support, but what if Google will continue its bull run? Next resistance is the 187 and 203. Apple earnings coming up Thursday after the bell. Apple holding above the 164 area. Now, after last week, 6.5% to the downside. Inside candle, nothing much on Apple. For now, no long and no short on Apple. I would wait until after earnings to make decision on Apple. Tesla overall closed the week with 14% to the upside, but hold your horses. Why? Because trend lines, look at these trend lines, look at this channel, down trend channel, until proven otherwise. One candle, and it doesn't matter how big, how strong it is. No FOMO, ladies and gentlemen. No FOMO. Try to resist the FOMO. It's super hard. This is why we put the FTI on our chart. Mixed signals. We have bullish on the daily, but on the higher time frame, on the weekly, we are still bearish. So we need patience. And we have trend lines. Look at this. This lower trend line holding as support for the lower lows. We have this middle yellow trend line. Look how it holds as resistance for the lower highs. As long as Tesla is below the yellow zone, below the yellow trend line, no long on Tesla. Only, at least, in my opinion, you can also take Fibonacci swing low, swing high. You can also take Fibonacci from here, take it to the upside, and in my opinion, only above 180, and then Fibonacci Traders Discord, we will reassess going long on Tesla. Until then, Tesla is in a downtrend. Nvidia gained 15%, but overall, inside candle, indecision in the market, holding strong. The yellow zone breaking below, and we will see 650. Long continuation above last week's highs, above the 890 more or less, and then we will meet 974. AMD trying to get back. Bulls of AMD trying to gain back some of the respect. As we can see, the 143 area support, yellow zone, 158 resistance. Look at this yellow zone. All you need is the FTI. Click, one click away. Check the links in the description below, and you will get the FTI on your chart. This yellow zone, the 160 area, 158 area, support, 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 broke to the downside, and now resistance. No long, in my opinion. For now, no long. If you want to go long on AMD, I would wait for at least 2 days, closing inside the daily yellow zone above the 161 area. And we have a double bottom scenario, but it's still too early. Let's see continuation and trend reversal at least 2 days above the 160. MicroStrategy continue its journey to the downside, the 50% retracement, the 1200 area holding a support, the upper border of the yellow zone, the 1400 resistance. Look at this. It was support 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. Now resistance. Short continuation, downtrend continuation below last week's lows, below the 1200, and we will see 1035. Below 1035, the road south back to 800 will be here very fast. SMCI on the weekly, yes, SMCI gave us 20% on the week. Look at this. SMCI just on Thursday and Friday, 13% to the upside, but overall, no FOMO. You still did not miss any uptrend on SMCI. Why? Because on the weekly, we are still bearish on the weekly, inside the yellow zone, below the 860 area, only at 2-3 days above the 877, 880, and then we can start taking long on SMCI. On the weekly, on the daily, it looks like this. I would wait for at least above the 913. Amazon earnings coming up Tuesday. Broke to the upside. Look at the daily inside the yellow zone. With a gap to the downside at the 173 area, we know that more than 85% of all gaps will get filled. Amazon now have this gap. Amazon is stuck on the daily between and inside the yellow zone, long above the 181, and we will see 184 and 190. Be careful. Tuesday, Amazon have earnings. Last but not least, Netflix inside the yellow zone, holding above the 50% retracement. If you want to go long, in my opinion, only 2 days above the 575. Downtrend continuation below the 541, then 519, and then 590 to the downside. Overall, inside weekly on the SPY, inside weekly on the Qs. Dow Jones not looking good, basically moving sideways. IWM trying to hold this area of support. Next week will be even more interesting. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. More videos coming up during this weekend. Until the next video, stay safe.